Hello everyone, today I'm going to talk about the new announcement from Simucube, the ActivePedal, and what benefits I think it will bring currently to race sim since in terms of simulating a brake pedal, and I want to talk about the possible competitive advantages it will bring as well over what we do have currently in terms of brake pedals for sim racing. So let's start with a video where they teased the pedal, so they show the basic construction of it. So yeah, there you can see it moving. You can see there is a motor which counteracts the force that you put on the brake pedal. They vibrated that just to so it's clear that it will have some kind of ABS simulation in that. And that's another interesting part where they removed many components that they use to build a pedal today. So I think it will be more reliable out of the box. Just that the motor needs to work, and probably the mechanical parts, so the lever and the pedal itself, most likely will not fail. So you would only need like the motor to fail so that you don't have any brakes. Today you have the elastomer that can rip, and then hydraulic pedals. I'm not even gonna go into that with leaks and everything that can happen with a hydraulic pedal. So yeah, about the construction of the pedal, it has a motor, so you can even call that a direct drive pedal if you will. But yeah, I'm just gonna refer to that as the active pedal. So there is a motor which moves that part forwards and backwards, and that counteracts the force that you put on the brake pedal here. So let's say you start applying force and the brake pedal starts to incline, that there probably isn't a sensor that measures that, and by that movement it controls the motor to apply an appropriate amount of force for the movement you caused on a pedal. So virtually what that can bring is it can simulate pretty much any kind of curve. So let's say you have a road car where the start of the pedal due to the servo motor is very light, and then it starts becoming progressively heavy until it's basically stops traveling, and you can only apply more force to it. So you can actually simulate that without having to change anything. And I'm talking about only the brake pedal, but Simucube proposed that it can be both a throttle and a clutch, and I'm gonna talk about what you can do with that a little later. So yeah, it's very, as you can see, it's a very simple construction, which is very good in terms of reliability, as I mentioned already. So what you can do is you can simulate different brake systems, both road and race car. So yeah, I already talked about roads, but let's say there is a GT race car where you have a pedal which is much heavier than, let's say, you go for a Formula Ford, which is going to require less braking effort, or you go to a Formula One car, which is going to require a massive braking effort. You can change that without having to change anything in the pedal, so that's a very good thing. Simulators today, they only have like to 0 to 100 brake travel, so they will have to adapt in terms of having a custom brake force for each car. I think that would be very cool, just to jump in a car and have the correct brake force already configured. And simulating ABS behavior, of course. Now the pedal can actually vibrate, not with just a motor that gives some vibration, but actually uh, going deeper or not, depending on the ABS mode, because it changes a lot the pedal feel in the real cars. So you have, let's say, ABS 7 has a different pedal feel than ABS 3, and now they can simulate that. Currently, I don't think Sims actually have the data to put that into it, so it will mostly have to come from Simucube software at first, which I don't think there are many sims which can provide that data to actually change in that depth the brake pedal. So I'm gonna change the window just quickly. I think iRacing is the only one that can actually do something similar to that, because as far as I know, it's the only sim that actually broadcasts into the telemetry the brake line pressure, not the pressure that activates before it goes into the ABS. So this is a lap at Barcelona. Let's say here you can see the ABS acting very heavily in this braking zone, so you have only on the right side here, the rear wheels doesn't have that much ABS activation as much as the front, so you can see the brake pedal feel, it's a lot different at the front than the rear, so it would represent a different feeling in the brake pedal due to those different pulses, so you can feel that in a real car, and I think it will be very cool to have that in the sim as well. So for iRacing, I think they can already put in something like that. So let's go back to the other screen where we show the pedal with all the benefits, I think. And also another interesting point is that it can simulate mechanical failure. So let's say you have a crash and you rip off your braking line, you're gonna press the brakes and it's gonna go right down to the car floor, and you're not gonna have any brakes, as that it's not just pressing the brakes and having it hard in your feet, but the car actually not stopping. You're actually gonna feel a brake loss if that happens in your feet. So that's very cool as well. But for that to work optimally, I think Sens would have to start developing brake pedal force feedback. So that would be really cool and would pretty much solve all the issues regarding, oh, this car requires more braking force, this other car requires less braking force, and then ABS acting. So if they develop a brake pedal force feedback signal, just like we have for the steering wheel today, I think it will be really good, and we're gonna get way much closer than to reality, because brake pedal and steering wheel are two of the most important things to feel in a race car. And also you can simulate brake wear. So let's say you overheat your brakes and then they start to become a little bit mushy, so you push them and they're not as responsive, or you are with very worn out pads and you need to start pressing the brake harder to have the same stopping effects of the brakes. So this all can be simulated with this new idea from Simucube, and I think it adds a new dimension to the simulation we have currently. And in terms of the competitive side, I think for cars that don't have ABS, in terms of brake pedal feel, without adding those features that I've mentioned above, I think there won't be a competitive advantage at all compared to load cell pedals today. I have a video that I'm gonna link here in the video where I compare potentiometers versus load cell if you're interested in that. But in terms of if you have a load cell pedal, I don't think you're gonna get a competitive advantage from this pedal alone, the way it currently is. But you can actually configure, let's say, a traction control with it. So you detect wheel spin with the game data, and then you can configure the throttle pedal to just push back, so you release the throttle as you're starting to get wheel spin automatically. So that's kind of a driving aid that can be possible with this. Same goes for launch control. So too much throttle or the correct release of the clutch, you can always configure that with that motor, so the motor can help you to do that. And some kinds of a poor car's ABS. So let's say you start applying brake pressure, and then the wheel starts to lock up, and let's say the pedal automatically goes back. So think about like you're pressing and the pedal is here. So when the wheel starts to lock up, the pedal automatically goes forward. So you have less pressure on the measured on the load cell. So that can be some kinds of ABS. So as long as you don't keep pressing the pedal and try to fight against it wanting to go down, you can actually have ABS on all cars in terms of pedal feel for that as well. So that's another point that can bring some advantage immediately if you know how to use those tools correctly. But anyway, this is what I thought directly just from the announcement. Of course, I think there are other possibilities that I haven't covered as well, and I'm very excited to see when it releases. It seems that they want to release that at the first quarter of 2023, so we want to see the true potential of this pedal when it reaches the market at the first part of 2023. So yeah, let's wait and see, and I hope this brings new level of simulation to our racing sims. So thank you for watching, and if you want to watch other videos, I have this one that I mentioned about load cell and potentiometers. I'm gonna start producing more content as well, so everything regarding simulators and race cars. So if you enjoy it, just please subscribe, and thank you for watching.